Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bienvenidos al podcast 154. There, that got it going, didn't it? I bet you thought, hang, I'm on the wrong podcast here. I'll explain in a minute. But for those of you that don't understand Spanish, and I'm one of them, de está Ewinakan. Welcome to podcast number 154. So before I start, I'd better explain, by the time you hear this, I'll be nearly on the way home from my holiday in Tenerife. We do try now to try and get 2 short weeks away during the year, split them up a bit. And this is my second week. We was in Malaga earlier this year. We're now in Tenerife. And I'm in my hotel room. Beth sat down by the pool. I mean, this is dedication to the podcast, this is. She's down there by the pool. I'm stuck here in my bedroom with the blooming air conditioning going on full, door shut, so you don't hear all the noise outside of people jumping in the pool and everything. So the quality of the mic might not be 100%. I brought my mic, but the room is a bit different to what I record at home. But there we go. So as far as last weekend goes, I can't remember much about it, really. I don't know what I did last weekend. I know we had the grandchildren, which was brilliant. Apart from that, I can't quite remember. Sorry about that. But then we got on to Monday and dear Barbara's funeral. And Barbara, that's another family I've known for such a long time. We conducted her parents' funerals when they lived at Bray there. And yeah, it was a lovely crowd. People standing outside. And we had the golf club there, the ladies members of the golf club, and they did a guard of honour, holding their golf clubs over the coffin as we went into the chapel, and 'twas proper. It really was. And then that's it as far as my working week went, because then we had to be up at 3:30, 3:45, something like that, at 3:30, I think it was, on Tuesday morning, to drive up to Exeter to catch the plane. Well, I can't sleep anyway, as you know, so I was awake from 2:30, so that wasn't a problem. Drove up, everything was fine. Only thing was, when we was on the airplane, they had a medical incident, and the captain came over the loudspeaker, and he said, "We've got a medical incident. Is there a doctor or paramedic on board?" And I said to Beth, "Oh, hang, if things don't go too well, did I ought to let them know that I'm here?" But I didn't. And I think everything was fine, which was brilliant. So we landed in Tenerife, and we've had, what day is it today? It's Thursday today. So we've had a full day yesterday and today. Got in loads of cycling, about 30 odd mile yesterday, 30 odd mile today. Sun is shining, 'tis handsome, but 'tis a bit blimmin' hilly. And today we went to a lovely town. I will put photos on my Facebook page when we get back. But a lovely town, or about 15 or so miles down the coast. And it was the windiest place I've ever been to. I'll tell you what, the headwind, I was cycling head down on the flat, going as hard as I can, and I was doing about 9 miles an hour. It was hellish, it really was. But it is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. So that's going to be my week. I'm doing my podcast today, and then one other thing I've got to do. Sadly, I lost another cousin last week before. That's 2 cousins I've lost now in just a couple of months. And they've asked me if I can do his eulogy, which it will be an honour to do. So I've got to try and fit that in sometime. I've got all my notes now. It's just putting it all together, but all will be well. Another thing I'd like to say, congratulations to Charlie that works for us, because you might have seen him. He was on the TV. He was on Radio Cornwall at Camelford Show. He was the judge there, judging the vegetables, and he did a proper job. He come over lovely on the telly, I thought, which was really good. And then the other thing, I did put a photo on, oh crumbs, quite a few months ago now. Time flies by. We did buy our new ambulance. And the company we bought them off, Wilcox, they did get in touch recently, because the sales rep had been open to come down and he hadn't got round to it. So he said, "Here, can you do a photo and send it up to us, and then we'll put it in all the magazines on our website and everything." So you might have seen we got our new ambulance. I change it every 5 years, and it's just geared up. I mean, inside we got 3 different types of stretcher. So if somebody passes away in a particular, building or upstairs or whatever, we've got all these different types of stretcher, which makes life easier for our staff and more dignified, for the people that have sadly passed away. So you would have seen that photo on there too. Apart from that, I don't think I got too much to say, really. I got to thank the staff, Phil and Neil and all the gang, because they did conduct a funeral for me on Tuesday, which was Keith's funeral, and that went really well. Now, Keith, he used to live up Talmina, and we used to live up Talmina too. So I thought directly that'll be my Cornish word for the week. Apart from that, I can't really think of anything much more to say. I must admit, I thought the Cornish was laid back, but these Spanish, they take it another stage. They really do. The people are absolutely lovely. But once you get out, because we're cycling out in the countryside, in the towns and that, they don't seem to worry about nothing. They got all electric wires just bowed up on the side of the houses, pipes and tubes and everything. They ain't buried underground or anything. They're just there. It's crazy, really. They got so much land that's just either, I don't know if it's kind of footings and that have been started and they've finished it. They can't be bothered to carry on anymore, or whether it was buildings there once that they've scapped down. Fly tipping. God, I can believe it. We saw a blooming car yesterday. Me sat nav for me push bike. He sent us up this blooming dusty lane, and there's a blooming car there, burnt out. Next to it, there's old fridges and freezers, and they don't seem to care. It is weird, really. But I mean, have they got the right idea? Do they not worry about things that don't really matter? They're so laid back over here. It is amazing, really. But they're a lovely old gang, and most of them, they understand what I say, which is brilliant. So there we are. So now we're going over to Janet's last episode. I think from memory, this one, she talks about the Twinning Association. I tell you what, we're all over the world in this episode, innit? We're in Tenerife, and now Janet will be talking about France and the Twinning Association with Wadebridge. So I hope you enjoy it, and then I'll speak to you directly with my Cornish word of the week, which you know already, and a bit of Cornish dialect. So here it is.
I mean, the Betchman Centre, although, of course, that's another thing, isn't it? That was part of the railway land.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. And, of course, they do a terrific job there with all the...
Popular.
Yes, and numerous volunteers who do all sorts of things.
Fantastic team.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We often say how lucky we are to have all these lovely green open spaces.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of that was railway land.
Yes, of course.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
So it was really put to good use when the railway went. But what is nice, that little mini gym.
Oh, yes.
They've put there, and it's very popular.
Yeah.
It's surprising how many adults come and use it as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So obviously you were busy with 4 children. So did you have time for hobbies or anything, or no?
Yes, I was busy, but it was lovely. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And of course, once they go to school, life is regulated by the school day and the school term. But Yes, I did. Well, I've always been interested in homemaking, and I used to do a lot of knitting and sewing and baking. I didn't ever buy cakes or biscuits or anything like that. I used to make everything. Well, that's where the Argo was wonderful, because if you suddenly decided you wanted to do some cooking, you could, and you always had a warm room in the house as well. But I used to go to art classes at one time, because when I was at school, I couldn't draw a cat on a mat.
Right.
And somehow or other, I found myself going to this art class with a friend. And I can remember thinking, what on earth have I let myself in for? But we had a wonderful tutor. He was called Victor Harvey.
Right.
And he was a local man. And he's the one who did the mural in the town hall.
Yeah.
Yes. And I always remember him saying, draw what you see. not what you think you can see.
Yeah, I see.
And when you look at it like that, it gives you a whole different perspective. And I found myself enjoying it.
Yeah.
And we used to have a lady who used to come to sit for us to do portraits. Poor lady. I hope she never saw any of my efforts. But at least I got to the point where I could draw something and you could see what it was meant to be. So I thought that was quite an achievement. And I also actually went to woodwork classes at one time. I think the tutor did more of it than I did. But I did make a bathroom cabinet.
Yeah.
And in the kitchen, there was a very deep window, and it had a windowsill. And William was a great climber, and he'd be up on that windowsill, and I always had fears of him tipping out. So at woodwork classes, I actually made a screen to put in front of this window so that he didn't fall out. Yes, but that was relatively short-lived. But that was quite fun as well.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, later on, when I was at school, I didn't ever do languages.
Right.
And I always wanted to learn French. Well, in actual fact, because Peter was very interested in French and he spoke fluent French.
Yes.
And when Brittany Ferries first started, we went over the Penard bed. It was very, very basic, but we went over as foot passengers and had a weekend, and we walked and walked and walked, and it was really good. And by reading the road signs and little things like that, and he taught me the basic vocabulary, so I became interested in it. And then I did start going to French classes, and they were following a BBC course at the time.
I see.
Which was very interesting. And a great friend of mine who also lived in Trevanson, Sylvia Dell, she was very good at French. And as a result of this course, they held summer schools. You could go to France for a week.
I see.
And it was all different levels.
Yeah.
So, which was good for a beginner, because although you couldn't necessarily understand what was being said, you got the feel of it.
Yeah.
And we went 2 years running, stayed on a university campus, and I met all sorts of people. And we had 2 really interesting holidays, because we would have sort of a lesson in the morning, and then in the afternoon they would take us somewhere of interest, and somebody would give us a tour. It was all in French, but that was really interesting.
Yeah.
And and I went to French lessons for years. I mean, I'm not particularly fluent, but I can make myself understood.
Yeah.
And of course, I joined the Twinning Association.
Yeah. Yeah.
And unfortunately, that has sort of waned a bit now. But it's the same with so many organisations. Young people have got different ideas of what they want to do. They don't want to do it in a group. They want to do it as individuals.
Yes.
But at one time, it was very, very successful.
Yeah.
And we used to go over, we have a coach load to go over.
Yes.
And the family I met, I mean, we're still in touch, and we've done exchanges until COVID came along.
Yeah.
We used to do an exchange more or less every other year.
Yeah.
Either they would come here or I would go there. On 2 occasions, Michelle brought her grandchildren.
Oh.
When I went over, they always made me so welcome. I felt as if I was going home, you know. And it amused me because the grandchildren, they had 4 things on their to-do list: fish and chips, bacon and egg, cycle the Camel Trail, and have a meal in a pub.
Get away.
So we managed to do all those things, but it was lovely. But then, of course, they're now all grown up and in their 30s.
Yeah. Which part of France was it?
Brittany, in Longueur. We're actually twinned with, but it's not far from Saint-Brieuc, and there are a lot of place names in Brittany.
Yeah,
you can associate with Cornwall.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. Yeah. And also Longueur itself is very similar to Wadebridge in that it's on an estuary.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things that they do is in the summer months, so we had to make a special trip if we wanted to do it. The name escapes me, but they come from all over France to do it. And it's a big bay, much bigger than our Wadebridge, Padstow Rock Bay, much wider, and it's more mud than sand.
I see.
But at low tide, you can walk across it. It was a circular walk. It was about 12 miles in total. And of course, you had to do it at a certain time because of the tide. So that was an interesting thing to do. Yes, it was. And I know the first time we did it, it rained the whole time.
Oh, no.
It really was. Yeah, it really was. But the second time, the weather was kinder to us.
Yeah.
But it was a very interesting experience. There was some kind of cycle ride and the runners. And at the end of it, they had this big reception for the winners and everybody. It's a big affair. And I just can't think of the name of it now.
No.
But it was very interesting. But that brought me a lot of pleasure, going over there regularly. Because when I used to go over, they always used to take me to somewhere interesting.
Yeah.
And quite rural because I know Marlene, the daughter, that they live in quite a country area, and they've got a big garden. And I know I gave them runner bean seeds because they liked the runner beans. So they had some of those on one occasion. But they've got livestock as well.
Yeah.
That was something that I really enjoyed, being part of all that. I think the great success of the football team, they did an exchange. And the fire service and the police.
Police, I remember that.
Yes. So it was organisations and the Camhale, the drama groups. And of course, they put on dramas here and over there. And of course, you get to know lots of people.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it was a very, very interesting and thriving organisation for a long, long time. But also, I mean, I've been very fortunate insofar as I've got family abroad, so I've done a lot of travel.
Yeah.
And of course, George was in the RAF and he was stationed in Germany for 10 years. So, but of course, going to visit them was like going to Little England because you were on the base. I mean, we did go out and about, but it's not quite the same.
No.
But that was interesting. And Tom lived in Thailand for 5 years. Yeah. So Rachel and I went out there a couple of times to visit him. And William was in America for a year.
Yeah.
So I went over and spent some time with him. And also, because two of the cousins stayed in America, we were able to meet up with them. They were in North Carolina at the time.
Yeah.
Because their dad was at Duke University. And friends of mine lived in Italy. Brilliant. So my friend and I went over there. And Australia.
Yeah.
My nephew went to Australia, and then he was in Hong Kong. So I've been to Hong Kong, and George has been in Hong Kong for a long time. And it's about 10 years ago now I went over and had some time over there. And because when he finished in the RAF, he was a pilot with Cathay Pacific.
All right.
And when I was over there, my nephew and his wife said, well, look, you're halfway to Australia. Why don't you come here? So that's what I did. And Rachel took me to Heathrow to embark on all this. And we were going to the check-in to the normal economy place. And she said, oh, keep going. And unbeknown to me, they'd got me a first-class ticket.
Oh, fantastic.
So I flew out to Hong Kong first class.
Oh.
So that was quite something. But an even bigger surprise, George took me to the airport when I was going on to Sydney. And he said, well, I can't stay and see you off because I've got an early flight tomorrow, so I've got to get back. So I took it at its face value. Anyway, when I boarded, the stewardess said to me, would you like to say hello to your son? And he actually flew me down to Sydney. Yes. And I was so surprised. And of course, I was able to go up into the cockpit for the takeoff and landing. And landing because it was a night flight, landing in Sydney the following morning, because Sydney is sprawled out over a very large area. And of course, it was a beautiful day, and it was all this panoramic view of
Yeah.
Sydney. It was absolutely fantastic.
I can imagine.
Yes. So, I mean, that really did. And he thought I'd guessed, but I hadn't.
No.
I had absolutely no idea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where does he live now, though?
Well, he's still in Hong Kong.
He is,
He's
yeah.
actually retired now. He wants to travel, and what he calls proper travel, live somewhere for 2 or 3 months at a time.
See. Yeah.
So
And Rachel and Tom, where do they live?
Yes, well, Rachel's in Sussex.
Yeah.
Well, she was with BA. Well, she started off in the airlines with Bryman Airways.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she was in Plymouth for a while. And then eventually they started flying from London City.
Yeah.
And went to Paris. And I had several flights with her just for sort of a weekend break, including a weekend in Paris, which was lovely. Yeah, so she started off with them and then she went to various ones, but eventually she did join BA and she was with BA for a long time. But she stayed up in that area. Well, she was up in that area near Gatwick. Originally she was based. And of course, all her friends and her way of life is up there. I mean, she loves coming home to Cornwall. Yeah. But I don't think she'll come and live down here again.
No.
But, I mean, Sussex is a lovely county, actually.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And, well, of course, William, he went to Bristol and did his nurse's training in Bristol. And then he had a year in America. But his aim was always to come back to Cornwall. So he was in Bristol for about 10 years, I suppose. And then he came down and he was at Treliske for a long time. Yeah. And he was a specialist nurse in the cardiac department. And he was there for a long time. But he's now retired because he and Pauline had their chance to, because of the way the NHS pension was at the time, it's changed now, but they were able to retire early. The last 2 or 3 years, it was very, very stressful. Yeah. There's so much more complicated. In fact, he never really had his full holiday because the first few days of a holiday he would spend catching up because he felt he just couldn't leave things until he got back because something important might be missed. So it got very, very stressful. So he loved the work, but anybody who's in it, they all say the same. They can't do their job properly because they're under such pressure all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
And he moved home, really, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes, well, of course, he lived in Guineaport for a long time. Yeah. But now they've built...
He's a neighbour of me.
In the orchard. Yes, of course he is. Yes. Yes, well, they're very pleased with that because there again, as they said, they couldn't possibly have done it while they were working because of all the planning and everything that went into it. Yes, so they're very happy. But I mean, they've been very, very good to me because I've recently had a hip replacement and they actually came here and looked after me because I couldn't have managed on my own for the first week especially. So they were fantastic. Yeah, they really were. Well, they look after me full stop. I mean, the others are very good, but they're just not on the spot. But they obviously do what they can.
Yeah. So where's Tom too?
Well, Tom actually is living in Lostwithiel now.
Oh, is it? Oh, yes. So not too far away.
No, not too far away. Yeah. No. But he's been very good because I always resisted having a computer because I thought, no, I don't want to be sitting in front of a screen. I want to be out. I'm an outdoor person, really. But about 10 years ago, even I realised that I was going to be left horribly behind if I didn't do something about it. So they duly helped me. And Tom has been, because he's very, very good at all that kind of thing. And he really did help me to, I mean, I'm no wizard at it, but I can do what I need to do.
Exactly.
And if I'm in trouble, he comes. But so I've got my technical advisor as well, which is good. Yes. But I mean, I must say, in this day and age, you do need to.
You too. Really.
You need to know a bit. And I often think that about, even the humblest of jobs these days, you've got to have some degree of computer literacy, haven't you?
Yeah.
You really have. Yes. It's like all these technical things, they're wonderful when they work,
Yeah.
but when something happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very fortunate. I've had, I mean, obviously, well, we never forget Peter, obviously. And
No.
he comes into the conversation all the time.
Mm.
But having said that, he wouldn't have wanted me to sit and fret. And so I have really had a wonderful life, really. I have. And, well, wonderful friends and
Yeah.
support. And I often think of all the lovely people I've met
Yeah.
in life and how fortunate I've been to have done so, and the support of family as well. Yes, I often think that. I really do.
Well, I think that's a good place to end then, isn't it? Really?
Yes. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity then really to thank all the lovely people I've met, whose names I can't recall in an instant, and all the wonderful support I've had from them and my family.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Because I really have.
Lovely.
I'm richly blessed in years and experiences, really.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Can I ask how old you are now?
Well, George reminded me, 2 fat ladies this year, 88.
Well, I never.
I can't believe it, really. No, but I mean, I've been very fortunate because I've been fit and well, and I've been able to do what I want to do. And a lot of people would like to be able to say that, wouldn't they?
Definitely.
So I have had a truly blessed life. And what I should say as well, I mean, the church has played a big part in my life as well. My church family mean a lot to me, and my faith. Yes, it does.
Brilliant.
Yes. So thank you, one
Lovely.
and all.
Lovely. So if you'd like to say goodbye to everyone.
Oh, goodbye, everybody, and thank you for listening.
Proper job. Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Well, thank you, Janet. That was proper. I really hope you enjoyed that. For my Cornish word of the week, like I say, we'll go for Talmina. Now, I did live there for about 10 years, and I thought, is there a Cornish connection? No, I think, to be honest, it may be a bit of a made-up name. I mean, Tal is like brow, so it could be the brow where they think about brow the hill. Mena, that is Cornish for like stones. So it could be brow of the stones or something like that, brow of the stones. And what they did do behind our house in the field, they did got me words mixed up then. They did put 2 big standing stones there. I mean, they weren't there before. They weren't there from like the prehistoric age or nothing. They was there from like 1980. But I'm wondering if that's what they did. It's kind of, they might have made up a little bit. So Talmina, brow of the stones. So that's what we're going for. For me Cornish dialect of the week, I think I'll go for somebody if they're a bit forgetful or a bit of a scatterbrain. So I think that's what I'll go for this week. And 'tis scatty as a hen. Scatty as a hen. So there we are. Right, well, I'm going to leave you now. I'm just going to edit this bit a bit. Might get a chance to whip down to the pool in my mankini just before tea. But I hope you have a good week, and I will speak to you again next week. So see you then. Wish you well. Do ganas. Kerner bisfican. Or as they say over here, adios.